and discussing a possible payroll tax cut or relief, substantial relief, very substantial relief.
The economy is deteriorating drastically due to the coronavirus. So on March 10th, President Trump made an announcement that he will be meeting with the Senate today on March 11th, 2020 to propose a potential, the keyword here is potential, payroll tax cut or complete payroll tax relief for the rest of the year. I'm here today with Kevin Hennessy, the CEO of Brabo Payroll. All right, Kevin, first question. What is this payroll tax cut or the payroll tax relief that Donald Trump is proposing?
So the proposed tax cut would be to eliminate FICA, which is Social Security and Medicare tax for the remainder of this year.
Okay.
So what that would mean to businesses is a total savings of 7.65% that they're matching on their employees' wages. So if you're paying $1 million in wages, that's a $76,500 savings for the business itself. That would directly go towards cash flow.
Okay.
The employees get to save just as much, which is super exciting.
That's the second question. If this payroll tax is passed through the Senate, what would that mean for business owners? Not only in Massachusetts, but what would that mean for business owners in the United States?
So I think it's an incredible opportunity because every employee will feel like they got a raise financially. So for an employee that makes $500 a week, they're gonna see an increased $38 in their weekly paycheck. So that'll cover almost a car payment for many people. So the employees, I think overall are gonna have better cash flow and they're gonna be happier. I think that the employer is gonna save, for every $1 million they have in payroll, an extra $76,000. Which is incredible. So I think it's going to free up cash flow for some businesses that might be tight and allow for them to invest in their company or to at least get a little bit more stable through challenging times.
So Kevin, in your opinion, what would the impact do you think this payroll tax cut would have overall in the economy?
I think it's a stimulus. Is the truth.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody's avoiding that word, but it seems to me like nothing more than a stimulus. From my very basic understanding, it does seem that Social Security and Medicare will be funded through the general tax, so they're gonna have to still fund it somehow, but it's gonna free up cash flow for businesses as well as employees. So it is definitely going to free up a lot of spending for individual households as well as companies. So I do think at the very least, we're gonna see an instantaneous access to capital that we haven't seen in the past. I think that it will possibly affect the housing market because I think that people are going to have more money available to leverage towards maybe a mortgage, so that might increase property values.
Okay.
It's debatable whether that's good or bad, right?
Yeah.
Mortgage rates are plummeting at the same time, which is also probably going to increase values of homes. So I definitely think it's an interesting time, and I think that whichever direction we go in, we need to approach it cautiously and understand the long-term results. But I would say that based on the current market, it looks like in the short term we could use some help to at least try to stabilize the markets in some way. But yeah, I think the effect that it would have on the economy would be instantaneous and positive in the short term. I think there are potential long-term consequences that could come with it.
What do you think those long-term consequences might be?
I think that I'm a 35-year-old man and you're 32, I believe.
Yep.
So I don't count on Social Security being available for you and I.
Right.
So I think that the president's camp has talked about eliminating payroll taxes anyways in the future. They still talk about funding it through general tax, which that money has to come from somewhere, right? We're operating at a deficit every year. So I think it's interesting to consider. Some of the long-term consequences is maybe the general tax stops funding it at some point and we're one step closer to no longer participating in this at all. Okay. Is that good or bad? Or are we just realizing a sad truth that we've known for a long time? And I'm not quite sure, I'm not an economist, but those are the things that I think about.
Do you think that this payroll tax cut will be able to offset what the coronavirus is doing to the economy right now?
So the coronavirus's impact on the economy, I'm not sure how much of it is real. I think that we have some hysteria going on. I think it's a serious virus that has a very high death toll and a high percentage of people dying. I think it's a very scary thing, but I do think it's making the markets overly volatile just based on speculation.
Okay.
I do think that it's going to have an impact on the workforce, and I think that this could be a good countermeasure to it. I fear that the economy, is in worse shape than we want to acknowledge, and we're blaming the coronavirus for it. So, do I think that this will directly offset the coronavirus? Kind of. I think it will delay some of I think that it will delay some of the turmoil that we're seeing in our economy. I think it'll postpone it. I don't think it'll completely eliminate it coming. I think we do have a downturn that we're due for. I think we look at 10-year cycles, and 2008 was 12 years ago now. So I think at least in the short term it will be a stimulus, like I said before, even though they're not calling it a stimulus.
But it's a stimulus.
It seems to me like a stimulus.
Okay.
If somebody who makes $50,000 a year gets an extra $3,000+ a year to spend, feels a little bit like a stimulus, especially if the company that they work for also got that same money to leverage as well.
Yeah.
But instantaneous cash flow. So.
All right, so Kevin, I'm sure a lot of our customers are wondering, is this big for just big businesses, or does this affect small businesses as well?
I'm the most excited for small business. I mean, that's obviously where we see ourselves as the most, and we define small businesses here as under 500 employees, which is still relatively big. But we currently are a 10-employee company here at Brabo, and I can tell you that the financial impact to our firm, it looks like between $3,000 and $4,000 a month. Which means that the employees here, including yourself, are going to collectively save $3,000 to $4,000 a month. So my employees got a $4,000 raise. I got a $4,000 raise. It's a win-win for us in the small business space. So yeah, I think it's going to have a tremendous impact. The area that I think we're going to see the biggest impact is our group of employers that I feel like are targeted the most, which are our very large volume human employers with moderate to low wages, and they have a lot of people and thin margins on the company. And those companies, for me, are in-home healthcare agencies, okay, taking care of mom and dad. We all have aging parents, so we all end up paying for that.
True.
Restaurants and retail.
Okay.
Because they're all hiring a lot of human beings to do work. Their biggest expense is payroll, and they've been impacted the most by state regulations like increasing minimum wage, introducing Massachusetts earned sick time, the Massachusetts Paid Family Medical Leave Act. All of these taxes that are imposed on having a large volume of people and very thin margins, even EMAC, keep on hitting the same demographic of employer. And those people are spending the most money on payroll. So think of a 100-employee company that's spending $2 million a year on payroll, right? If they're no longer paying into FICA, they just saved $150,000. That's gonna go directly to their bottom line. And all of those employees now make that much more money. So again, I think it's gonna have a tremendous impact to the small business sector. And I think it's also going to help companies with razor-thin margins based on very high volume labor for lower wage earners.
Sounds like it'd be fantastic for them.
I think it would be fantastic for them in the short term.
In the short term.
So,
It's only going to be until the end of the year, so.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions about this potential payroll tax cut and what it would mean for your business, please call us at 781-312-9778. Thank you.